The following is a Just Green production brought to you by the Might Be News Network.
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday and welcome back to Might Be Brews. My name is John, and let's go around the table and introduce everybody. Across from me, my sidekick, as always, Steve. How you doing, Steve?
Great. Happy New Year to everybody. First time since the new year.
Yeah.
Hope everybody had a good one.
First show of 2019. The man behind the board, as always, my brother Taylor. How you doing, man?
Hi, everybody. It's good to be here. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And we have a special guest today, my buddy Joe. How you doing, Joe?
What's going on, everyone? Happy Friday. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. A lot of people, if you don't know Joe is a good friend of Taylor and I's. You and Taylor were in a music project together a while back.
Organic Theory. Yep.
Organic Theory. Shout out Organic Theory.
Do any Organic Theory tapes, are they out there? Can I find the tunes?
Yeah.
I think I have a CD in the CD case with the printed insert with the clouds and shit on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Newground?
Newground probably.
Yeah.
I can probably hook it up.
All right, I gotta check it out.
That's funny.
a good
I
album.
posted something. Oh, God. I don't remember what I posted, but like two people hit me up, Joe. They were like, look what I've got. Look what I found. And they had the Newground CD. I'm like, holy shit, I don't even have one of those anymore.
Yeah,
like,
right? They're hard to come by.
I don't even have that. Dude, I was like, hold on to that. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
I feel like I saw that in the move when I moved.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh shit. But yeah, and then Joe, also I've brought him up on previous podcasts. Joe is responsible pretty much for really getting me into craft beer. And I always tell that story of you were like, yo, let's hang out. Let's go to Station Tap Room. And I had been there a couple times, but I always like went for like Lindemann's Framboise Lambic, because that was like an easy drinker to me. And sometimes I might get like an Allagash White, but I really wasn't into beer yet. And you were after Hop Slam, I believe. So I remember getting up to the bar, and you were like kind of looking over the tap handles down in the little back cooler that they have, looking for them cans. And you were like, I want a Hop Slam. And I was like, dude, what do I get? And you were like, Sculpin, man. Sculpin's good. And I remember drinking it like, holy shit, there's so much flavor in here.
Yeah.
I feel bad cursing. Every time I cuss now, I think of your kids. Because I know your girls
think of
listen
my kids.
sometimes.
I only let them listen to like the first 8 seconds. Once the introductions are done, they're out.
It just hit me, and I was like, oh no, I got to try to be careful.
You know, it's crazy. I think about it sometimes, and I'm like, what if kids are listening to me? I already said the F word like 30 times.
It happens.
Not necessarily in this show, but all the other shows I do here, I'm just like, F, F, F. And I'm like, why did I just do that?
Yeah, I just want to like talk naturally, but then I'm like, people aren't going to like the way I talk naturally with all these curse words, but whatever. Hey, so let's real quick before we get any further, thank you for listening, and please follow us on social media. Check out our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Might Be Brews, and you can also find our show and all of the other shows at mbnnetwork.com. So please check those out, and give us a follow, give us some feedback, and tell us what you think. So I'm thinking we're going to crack our first beer here.
Absolutely, I'm thirsty.
Yeah, man. I've been real excited to dude, I haven't been like doing a dry January, but I'm trying to lose weight because I'm actually at like the new year I was like the heaviest I've ever been in my life. So I'm like I got to lose some weight and get a little bit healthier. And I also got like this crazy sinus infection. So I ended up like drinking a beer and was just like it wasn't tasting good and I wasn't feeling good anyway. So like I really have not drank almost any beers in like the last 2 weeks.
I haven't even, except for the Eagles game. I'd have a couple during the Eagles games, but other than that,
yeah, not at all during the week. So I'm really excited. I got it on an antibiotic at the beginning of this week, so I'm really feeling better now, and I've got that like itch back for beer. You know what I mean? So I'm like real excited.
Get them cracking.
All right, so here's what I got. I just met these really cool guys, Downingtown people, that are homebrewers. And I don't think we've done a homebrew on the show yet. But what I thought was really interesting, the name of the brewers is FAM, F-A-M, Artisan Craft Brewers. Really nice guys, Sean, and I feel bad, I forget the other guy's name. They're cousins. but they're right around the corner from Frank's actually. And they won an award recently at a Downingtown, like homebrew festival kind of thing. And their beer won best beer, and it's called Unavoidable Bee Parts. So what's interesting is I'll start pouring this and pass it around, and I'll tell you what they've told me about it. It is it's a double New England IPA brewed with raw honey and vanilla.
There's the bee part.
Yeah, the honey, right?
The honey and the bee.
Yep. So what's interesting is it was the first time they've brewed this beer, but they liked it so much that they entered it. And part of them winning this award or this contest, Locust Lane is going to now brew this beer.
Really?
Yes, and they're going to can it, and they're going to do a can release with it and everything. Actually, I feel like our colors are pretty much the same. I was wondering if I got the top of it. Let me see the bottles. Anything left in there? I want to get a little bit more and make sure I'm getting some out of the bottom too.
Hey, here's to the new year, fellas.
Yeah, Happy New Year, guys.
Cheers
everybody.
Bring it around.
New Year. All right.
So where did you meet these guys at? What how'd you hook up with those guys?
I talked to them on Instagram, I think. I found them on Instagram as like a recommendation, and or maybe I saw somebody post about them winning the award in Downingtown. And I was like, I don't know these guys. So I hit them up, and they were like, hey, we just brewed this beer. Do you want to try it? And I was like, yeah, I'll definitely take it. And so I've actually had beer from them before that was really good. So anyway, now let's all take a sip, and you've got an interesting look on your face, Steve.
The vanilla is really coming through to me. I really like the sweetness to it.
Yeah, right away. It's very sweet, especially for like an IPA.
Yeah, it is sweet, but I feel like I'm actually really surprised how much I think it works well. There's like that sweetness that's kind of playing off of the maltiness, but it makes it juicy too. You know, it kind of gives it that New England juicy taste, but there's still a good bitterness in it. You got like that honey, the vanilla, but I still get like a little bit of a bitter hotness or something.
It smells like butt cheek,
Butt cheek?
but it tastes
Which one?
wonderful.
Not like butt cheek.
Probably the sweatier one.
Oh yeah.
The sweatier one.
No, seriously,
But it doesn't taste like butt
It kind of reminds me of dinner, because like it smelled harsher than it tasted,
Right.
and maybe it's the honey and vanilla that really like kind of eases that bitterness out of it. Because I definitely can't like smell the vanilla, right? Like I can't smell it, but I can definitely taste it.
You can smell like honey. It smells
I
like
smell
a lot
more
of like
honey, definitely
right.
than like vanilla. For sure.
It looks like honey.
I smell
It
more
looks like
honey than
honey.
I taste more
I
honey.
like the color of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like this actually.
It's really good.
I think
refreshing.
a lot of times with homebrew, I always find that there's like a flatness or something where they're starting to get it, but there's not a full blown ride of like beginning, middle, end. You know, that sometimes they're not as balanced as others, but this one's just full bodied all the way through, and I'm getting everything that's described on the label, I feel like.
It's definitely an enjoyable beer. So let's give it the rankings. Let's not mess around here.
Yeah, let's
and
get
forget
into
what
it.
our rankings are. Taylor, kick it off.
It's out of 5, right?
Yeah, out of 5, Untapped.
I would give this a 4.
Okay, it's a good score.
That was a good score.
Especially because, like, you know how I feel about IPAs. I typically don't like IPAs.
But you like it.
I do. I like it.
That's great.
I would drink that for sure.
Nice.
I'd give it a 4 for sure.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised how much I like it. I guess, like, I'll be completely honest. I had an IPA from them earlier, and or like maybe a month or two ago, and it was decent, but there was definitely some unbalanced thing. There was a lot of hop burn going on, and I just kind of messaged them straight up, like, hey, I'll give you some honest feedback. Like, I there was some good things to it, but this is where I thought there was like some funny taste to it. So, I really wasn't sure what I was going to get into with this one, but I'm really enjoying it, mainly because I feel like I'm getting all of these flavors. I think I get some honey. I'm getting that vanilla, and everything's just balancing and playing well off of each other, and I'm really enjoying it.
Cool. I enjoy it as well. I'm going 4.25.
That's what I was going to say, a 4.25.
I definitely would like to sample some more of their wares.
Yeah.
And, look forward to this being on tap at Locust Lane. I would definitely go
check
try
out
and pick
those
it up
cans.
and check it out.
Absolutely. What do you think, Joe?
I'm gonna go ahead with a 4.25 as well. I
Okay.
think it's good. The only thing I would like out of this is maybe a little less sweetness to it, just because of the style. I mean, what is this? This is a double IPA, correct? Yeah. So that's, I mean, that would be my only beef with this beer is that it's just I don't get as much bitter that I want for an IPA.
Sure. Well, usually, I feel like double IPAs tend to be like maltier, maybe like to bring that alcohol content up. I don't know, but I guess I'm sometimes used to there being a bit more sweetness in there. But yeah, maybe a little more hop character would be nice, to help jack it up a little bit. But I definitely like it. So I'll tell you what was interesting is when they did this, they used local honey from like a local farm, and they used real vanilla beans to do the vanilla.
That can't be cheap.
No. And that was a big issue because, and it was also the original recipe, I think he said was all oat for the grain. I think.
Yeah, I can see that.
So
just from the color.
when they started talking with Locust Lane, they were like, we obviously can't do a ridiculous amount of
Real
vanilla beans.
Yeah.
So they had to do something different. And I think he said you can't do vanilla extract because there's alcohol content in the vanilla extract, and you're not allowed to add alcohol into the brewing process. Something that already has alcohol content in it, I believe is what the rules are. So they had to change some things up, and this version is them testing the new recipe.
That was going to be my question. Is this still on their equipment, or is this off of Locust Lane?
No, this is off of their equipment, but this is a slightly new recipe where now it's I don't know exactly what grain bill they used, but it's not all oat. It's like a 50-50 mix of something that Locust Lane usually uses and some oats. They're using some maybe different honey, and they were using a different type of vanilla also. So they were trying out that recipe to try to like figure out what they're going to do or test it out for Locust Lane. But I think we still have a few months before that's done. But I'd like to see if we can get them on maybe when it gets close to that time.
Yeah.
And see if we can talk to them, because I think it's really interesting.
I'd be interested to hear the process of converting a homebrew recipe to a larger scale.
Yeah, I mean, I know one of the stories he told me was the farmer they used for the honey was like, I'd love to, but I don't have 600 pounds of honey to give you.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if it was pounds or gallons, but they just did not have enough. So before we get too much further, I'm going to crack another one from them. This one's called Adult Education. It's a 7.3% New England IPA, double dry hopped with Citra and Amarillo, conditioned on peach puree.
Oh, okay.
So I know when he gave me this one, they said they like this version of B Parts actually better than the original.
Okay.
That one, they actually like this one a little bit better. And then he said that he likes this one is probably one of the best ones they've done so far.
Cool.
Was his words. So we'll give it a pour and
I remember hearing about that homebrew fest, and my brother actually went to it. And I was going to go, but we had something else going on that day. I don't remember. It was a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
But he said it was a cool event. They had to move it inside because it rained, but it was still a cool event, he said.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. I've never been to a homebrew festival or whatever it is.
One looks a lot darker. Or
Yeah,
like cloudier.
Definitely dark.
What is
Definitely cloudy.
It's right on the label
New
there.
England, right? Yeah.
Adult Education.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's just what they call the beer. Let me get that again, because when I brew off the top, or I poured off the top, I want to get a little bit off the bottom too, and just make sure I'm getting a good blend of everything here.
Is that a scientific thing?
I don't know.
It is for John.
Yeah.
Steve, what were we talking about? The what is a razzle? Is that what it's called?
Oh, the Razzles.
I was cracking up because
it can't be a raffle.
it can't be a well, I didn't know that at
Raffles
first.
on Facebook are illegal.
I didn't know that at
yeah.
first, but like I just thought it was another beer thing, like term that you guys took and made your own, and I was like, oh, it's not a raffle, it's a razzle.
It's a razzle.
It's a razzle, damn it. and then you told me that you can't legally have them. I was like, oh, I guess that makes sense, but still,
All right, well,
it's still funny.
You bring up a good topic there, questioning me on that, because I'm curious what you guys do. But if I'm pouring myself a pint, or if I've got a can of name an IPA and I'm pouring it into my glass, I usually pour about 75% into my glass, and then I give the can or glass a little swirl, and then I pour it in. I don't know if that's recommended or not, because I think sometimes you want, maybe if there's some whatever sludge, dry hop stuff, some yeast or whatever that's maybe floating around, you want that to settle in the can and to not come in. But I usually give it a swirl to make sure that like I'm getting everything that was in that can.
I usually just pour it straight in.
Do you?
And if they don't want me to pour something out of a bottle, they shouldn't put it in the bottle.
Okay.
Like I've heard that, don't pour the last 10% or whatever. No, if you don't put it in the bottle if you don't want me to put it in my glass.
Yeah, I try to pour the whole thing, but like Heady Topper says, like drink it out of the can. Supposedly, like they don't want you to see all the junk that might be floating in there. And that stuff kind of doesn't bother me, especially with like a nice snifter and it has that little like nipple at the bottom or whatever. Like all the solids kind of like get stuck in that little spot at the bottom, and maybe you pour out a little bit at the end. But for the most part, I just want to make sure I'm getting. It happens a lot. I think you pour a bottle and the first bit out of the beer is a little bit lighter. Like if I'm sharing a beer with somebody and I pour one and then pour them the second half of the beer, the color can be much different. I just kind of want to make sure I'm getting it even,
Yeah, I mean, it's not changing any kind of flavor for you. The particles that are flying around in the glass. I mean, it's just, yeah. I guess just for appearance reasons, especially with Heady Topper.
Yeah. Sometimes they're like snow globes, all that junk floating in there.
So what do we think of the what was it? Adult Education?
Yeah, Adult Education, double dry hopped New England IPA on peach puree.
Definitely peach coming through. I'll give these guys that credit. If it's on the bottle, it's in the taste.
Yeah.
I wonder like how much of that is because of the scale that they brew on. Like they
on a smaller scale, it'd be easier to get that kind of flavor in.
Right. I would be interested to see if they could take like, say, this Adult Education beer with the peach puree and convert it to something large enough that is like Chester County distro,
Yeah, you see pictures sometimes of like Tired Hands, or I'm trying to think whoever else I might have seen, a picture on Facebook or Instagram, and they have like boxes or cases of like green apples or whatever it is. Like they just have like cases on cases, and they've got 4 or 6 employees sitting around peeling and whatever, and you're just like, God, they're going to go through like how many thousands of peaches for this recipe. Like I'd be really curious to talk to somebody that's done that at a brewery. Like how much weight of product like actually went in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I don't know. All right, let me get another sip on this beer before I rate it. Anybody want to go?
Taylor, kick it off.
Yeah, you haven't had many thoughts on this.
I think it's like it's a little bit of a step down for me from the last one, but I do like the flavor of this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like it definitely has like a citrusy, tone to it, and I really like that about it. Being a step down, I would probably have to go 3.75.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give it a 4. I liked B parts better. I felt like I got hit with a lot more complexity and flavors.
Yeah.
This was good. I liked it. There was a hot bite to it. There's a sweetness to it. And this last sip that I took, I swallowed it, and then I just had this like flavor of fresh peach on the back of my mouth, and I really liked it. So like right there at that last second, I was like, man, I really liked that. That really just made brought it up a step for me. You know what I mean? I really liked that peach flavor to it.
Me agreeing with you is probably not going to make for good radio, but I agree. I go for just a little bit below the first one. I wouldn't mind a little bit more hop on the nose on this.
Yeah.
To give me a little bit more bitterness with this one. But it's still very good. I'd
Yeah.
definitely still drink it. I just
Tasty.
would put the B, can't remember the name of the first
Yeah,
one.
B parts.
B parts a little bit above.
Yeah. Joe, did you give a rating yet? No.
No, I didn't. But I really don't want to agree with you guys. So I'm
Say something
gonna
completely
go 4.25.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just because like I mean the same thing as the last one. I just for a double IPA, I want the bite. This has much more bite. It was more what I anticipated. So I'm going 4.25.
Nice. I'm going to pour just another little sip because I want to get that little peach punch in the back of my throat again. But
I said orange. I meant peach. That's what I meant. Can I
Yeah.
have a little bit more
Yeah,
too? Is there
absolutely.
A little more in there?
This kind of makes me excited because it sounded like these guys are very new to it, and I think they figured things out. They're on to something, and you could just imagine if their beers are this good, if they're able to accomplish so much at this point. I'm really curious to see how they do with getting some experience and learning from Locust Lane and just really honing in their skills and things like that. I think they could really be something special.
I would imagine a lot of the brewers that are out there now, probably even the guys from Locust Lane, all started in the homebrew realm.
Yeah.
And like I know Mike from Root Down obviously ran the homebrew shop in Downingtown for years and years before he opened up Root Down, and it's a path to being a production brewer.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's obviously their end goal. I'm sure everybody that homebrews, that's what they want. But now that they're getting some attention with the award and they're getting things going, I believe that they're hoping to eventually be able to open up their own spot, which is it's pretty interesting. I'm gonna bring up a point actually that just made me think of something I had on our list here. There's a new tax for Pennsylvania breweries. I don't know if you guys have been seeing this in the news, and I've been seeing like all these posts online after the new year, and I didn't really pay that much attention to them because I'm like, whatever, it's a little bit of tax, no big deal. But all these things on Facebook and Instagram, they're like, you could soon be paying more for craft beer, in Pennsylvania, and da da da. So I decided finally, after seeing the posts so many times and people sharing it and talking about it, that I was going to look into it. Like, how ridiculous could it be, or what's the problem, or why is it getting so much attention? And what I thought was interesting is right now, if a brewery sells their beer to a distributor or to a restaurant, they have to pay tax on the purchase of the keg. So, for example, a bar owner, you can imagine a place like Frank's or whatever, if they buy a keg off of Victory and pay $150 for the keg, let's say, which is probably a lot, they would pay 6% sales tax. It'd be like $9 in taxes on that keg. But now they want breweries who sell their own beer in their tap room to pay 6% tax on every pint sold. So if you're paying $5 for a pint and there's 120 pints in a keg, that would be $36 in taxes instead of the $9 that the restaurants get to pay. So I thought that was kind of interesting. That is that fair or not?
I know a lot of it is a bar pays a lot more for their liquor license than the brewery does. There's a brewery license and there's a regular bar license.
Okay.
And I think the bar people weren't too happy that breweries could pay a little bit less for their license than they had to.
Sure.
And I think they're kind of fighting. A lot of bars might be losing some business with a lot of these breweries opening up and people going there instead of going to different bars.
Yeah, I believe it. And I mean, obviously, I think there's a much higher markup and margin to be made if somebody can brew this beer.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, I don't want to call out breweries or whatever, but like, I really would love to know how much it costs them to fill my glass, and they're charging me $5-6 for it.
Yeah.
How much when they're buying all this material in bulk. So I don't know. I kind of feel bad that they're being held to a different standard, I guess, than everybody else. But that's a good point. I didn't realize that maybe the liquor licenses are different.
Yeah, it's a different game.
Well, that too. But like, my only thing is like small people for these guys, for example, these brews we just had.
Yeah.
Like, they're a little startup brewery,
Mhm.
and now they're going to be having an extra 6% tax imposed on them, they're not going to. How do you get the capital to be able to open a brewery and do that when you're paying for distro, and now you have to pay an extra tax on everyone that's going to come to your place to have your beer at your place? It's not fair.
Yeah, I guess it just kind of changes the game where if somebody wants to go enjoy a beer at a brewery and they think to themselves, I'm going to pay $5 a glass there, and I'm going to have to pay a 6% sales tax on it. But if I go buy a 6-pack somewhere else, maybe it's cheaper. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think that starts to come into play where there's so much tax being paid at a brewery, or they might be able to have the same beer at a bar for cheaper instead of us going to East Branch and having a beer, we'll have to pay 6% on that beer. But if we go have it at Bottle Room or somewhere else,
well, yeah,
they didn't pay that tax on it. And I think the law is that the consumer, the person who purchases that pint of beer from the brewery, is required to pay 6% sales tax for every dollar that they spend on a poured beer at that brew pub.
Right. Yeah, it definitely favors the big guys, though.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it just stinks. Like it's literally going to be like, it's cheaper for me to get a beer. At least I think I'm understanding this correctly. It's going to be cheaper for me to get a Levante at, Estrella Tacos than it is to go to Levante itself. I'm not going to have to pay that tax.
That doesn't make sense in my head.
Taxation is theft.
It is.
I should be able to get beer from Levante cheaper from Levante than not at Levante.
Right. Exactly. I agree with that. So I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know how that would work. Would they have to change the law and the brewery has to sell the kegs to themselves or something like that? I don't really know, but it's interesting to think about it that way. Like, it's kind of unfair that if you want to enjoy it from where it's from, the source, you're going to pay a little bit more.
It's not even that though, too. I mean, that is definitely, but the other side of that is if you just don't have the capacity to brew that much beer to be able to distribute all your beer to all these other bars, then you're going to be crushed because if you only have the capacity to brew enough beer for people to come to you and drink there or take 4-packs out or crowlers out, and you don't have the capacity to distribute like to Jersey and New York, then, you don't have nothing because no one's going to come to you anymore.
Yeah.
Because they'd rather go to a bar.
Yeah. It's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough. And actually talking it out like we just did kind of made me realize how ridiculous it is that your beer is going to be potentially cheaper at a bar versus the source where they actually brew it, where there was no transportation or middleman in between.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Let's wrap it up and take a break. And we still got a couple more beers to crack, and then let's rip through some of the stories that have popped up in the last week or so. But we'll take a break and we'll be right back.
Everybody, tune in to the Might Be News Network. Monday through Friday, we got all kinds of crazy shows. Might Be News, Relatable Radio, Might Be Sports. We got Novak and Franz every other week.
When's that next episode, Novak and Franz?
Next Thursday.
Nice.
Next Thursday on all new Novak and Franz. We got Let's Talk About It. And coming soon, Might Be Tunes. We got the first episode lined up. As long as it doesn't snow hard this weekend, I'm going to get it done. But,
nice. I'm looking forward to that.
Might Be Tunes is coming soon. All kinds of good stuff. I couldn't be happier with the plays and people listening, so keep it up. Tell your friends. Might Be News Network, mbnnetwork.com. We're everywhere, worldwide.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to Might Be Brews. Hit us up on all the social medias, Facebooks, Twitters, Instagrams. Facebook, we put up a little poll to see what Drink It or Sink It would be this week. We had two options. We had John from Neshaminy Creek, the Juicy Ale with Nugget. That John.
The John
was defeated by one of my personal favorites, the Sam Smith Oatmeal Stout. So we got one of these cracked open. Let's pass it around and see if we get a little Drink It or Sink It. I was sharing with these guys. I think of this beer when I think of football, when the weather gets cool, throw on electric fireplace. I got the Eagles on. I'm drinking a Sam Smith's. That's where it's at for me.
Yeah, this beer has completely eluded me. You know, if somebody said like, "Hey, have you had a Sam Smith before?" or da da da, like, it's just not something that's ever been on my radar my entire craft beer career.
So cool. Let's get a sip in there. The taste of this beer just brings me back. It's one of the earlier craft beers that I had, and it just brings me back to why I like beer.
I just can't get over the fact Sam Smith. But are you okay with Sam Smith?
Yeah, I like Sam Smith. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
How do you feel about Sam Smith, the singer? Is that a guy?
That's what we're talking about, right?
Definitely
Okay.
what we're talking about.
Yeah.
See the
Hey, he's good.
stay, won't you stay with me? That's him.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll be honest, that album that has that song on it, that whole album is fire.
I'm trying to think. I
So
forget the
good.
name of the one song. I feel like it was in a commercial or something. And I think you and I were driving. I was like, yo, this song is great. And you were like, it's Sam Smith. And I'm like, no, it isn't. And I didn't believe you until it absolutely
Yeah,
was.
that dude's ridiculous.
He's really good. Very
Yeah.
talented.
Very talented.
I haven't listened to any of his new stuff. I don't
Was this beer named after him? What came first?
The beer.
Oh,
This is a 3.55 milliliter. Looking for the ABV on it. You have any idea off the top of your head?
I don't.
Yet another one that
gotta
tastes
guess
nothing
6.
like what it smells like.
Yeah, you
I
know,
don't even
it's,
know what the
Well.
point of smelling these beers are anymore.
sometimes the nose is great. It's a compliment to it.
I seriously
Sometimes it throws you
I
off.
feel like the last couple that we've had, like this tastes really good. I like this a lot. The oatmeal stands out to me for sure.
Yeah.
And I can see where you're coming from with the cold weather aspect of it, because it I feel like I should be drinking this next to a fire, like just hanging out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is a brandy snifter glass.
yeah.
beer.
Yeah.
This is
You hold it
Delicate.
underneath. I'm
Mhm.
making this underneath of a glass motion for everybody that can't see me. So what do
very
we get?
good.
Let's go drink it or sink it.
Yeah, I don't know if we brought that up. This is a drink it or sink
This
it
is
beer.
the drink it
No,
or sink
yeah,
it.
you did. You
Yeah,
did.
yeah, we talked about the poll. So yeah, you said 65%.
65% said this should be the drink it or
Yeah.
sink it.
Hey, and
Drink it.
everybody that voted, man, thank you for participating. That was a lot of fun seeing all the engagement. Everybody checking it out.
It's a drink it for me.
It is good.
Yeah, it's a drink it for me.
That is awesome. I'm
It's
glad
really
you
good.
like it. I like
like-
it too.
Some stouts, I think they like just overload on like the alcohol. Like it just like kind of has like, it's like super harsh, and that's like really easy going, like really smooth. But it's like, I feel like it's really smooth without being like a light. I don't even know if they make light stout.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what
I
you
have
mean.
no idea, but you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
not
it's
like
like-
watered down. It's mellow without feeling like it's watered down.
Yeah,
That's what I was trying to say.
That's a good way to put it. I'm usually a fan of those real heavy hitters.
I like it. I like the taste of it, the overall aroma of it. It was good.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a drink it.
Good.
Wow.
Should we do another one? Should we just go ahead and get right into the next beer?
Yeah, let's do it. Which
I mean,
one are we
still,
doing
we
next?
still got two more to do tonight, so let's do that. Joe brought a beer with us that we actually talked about recently. Joe, do you want to introduce it?
Yeah, this beer is called Second Dinner.
Oh, what?
Second Dinner.
So if dinner was a whale, is this like a white whale?
That's a good way to put it, Taylor.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
Dinner's hard to get.
I need to wash my glass.
Yeah, do that. Second Dinner, I would imagine, is really hard to get. I don't know how we're so lucky, man. We've got good friends.
We do have some good friends.
Shout
and
out, here, I got a little bit of water in this thing if you want to rinse it quick.
Yeah, shout out to
Um,
Brandon.
Yeah, Brandon, man, appreciate it, buddy. I don't know if you listen. I'm gonna shoot you a message and make sure you do. But I really appreciate you hooking us up.
This is a legit beer podcast.
Yeah, he works around Maine pretty frequently, right? That's how he gets the hookup.
Yeah, he does.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he was very. I mean, this is one of the great things about beer people is. I mean, I just told him that everyone really wanted to try Second Dinner, and he just said, "Okay, here, have one."
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
and part of that is we're in such a great area for beer.
Yeah,
You know, we're close enough to still get the Vermont stuff and the Massachusetts
Yep.
and all the IPAs from up there and all the great beer in our area and even a little bit to the south with the Richmonds and the Charlottes and all that beer. we're kind of in the center of
Yeah.
that hub. Even great stuff going out in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, we're
That's
definitely
starting to make its way this way.
Yep, we're in a great scene. All right.
Smell is great.
Oh, that's got a great nose to it.
Cheers. Wow, that's rugged.
That's so good.
It's good.
So good.
It's good.
So good.
It's like,
Wow.
so whereas like dinner was like smooth, this is rough
It says, yeah,
for me. Like this one's rugged to me. This one, and see, like Joe, I've told these guys a million times. I call all these beers weirdo beers. That's what it is. Because I'm not an IPA guy, definitely, but they've definitely shown me quite a few that I like, and I like this one. But I don't know. My question is like, would I have liked this when we started the show? And that I don't know.
yeah, that's interesting.
You know what I'm saying? Because I've started drinking more. Like whenever we go out to restaurants and stuff now, I'll just be like, yeah, give me that, I guess. I don't know. And before I would just get like a Jameson and ginger, like whatever.
Yeah.
But now I'm just like, well, what do you got on tap? And
It's
I like roll
happening,
my
Steve.
eyes like I give a
Told you.
You did.
I
You
told
said
it's
it.
gonna happen.
It's happening.
No, it's definitely happening. This is good. I like it.
I
like
hear
it a
what
lot.
you're saying with the ruggedness. It compared to dinner, this is a lot more hop forward. I think.
Yeah.
It tastes a little fresher to me than the dinner did, and I think the dinner the hops might have rounded out a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't quite as fresh as this. This feels like it was made yesterday.
It's just like it does. It tastes fresh. I don't know what a fresh beer tastes like, but it does. It tastes like fresh. It's clean.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Yeah.
really clean.
Usually, Taylor, if you don't know, the hop flavors will start to like fall off a bit, and then the maltiness comes out. So a lot of times they'll refer to like beers that have sat for a long time or the hops didn't come through well enough. They'll call them a hop bomb. I mean a malt bomb. I'm sorry,
No.
malt bomb, because they're too sweet.
Okay.
They kind of like get they lose that hop character up front.
Is dinner a double IPA?
Yes.
So I don't know. I would. What did I give dinner? I think I gave that
gave it a 5.
I think you gave it a 5.
I gave it a
I
strong
gave it
5.
A strong 5. Yeah, this is like right below it for me. It's like 4 or 5. I give it a 4 or 5.
I'm going 4.75. I really like that fresh hopness to it, and it's a stellar beer.
This is outstanding. I just love the balance to it. Everything's just hitting the right spot. I absolutely love it. I like the temperature right now too. Actually, it's not too cold.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're getting a really good flavor profile with this temperature. But man, it's hitting everything, every spot for me. I just don't know if I can give it a 5. I'm going to give it a 4.75 just because I don't know. I just have to leave that room. I'm sure there's something better out there, but probably not much.
Joe, what do you got?
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm going 5.
Who's going
You going 5?
I'm going 5. That's that's top of the line right there. I mean, just everything from the mouthfeel, smell right away. It's everything that I want in a double IPA.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like. Would you say it's slightly thicker than dinner was?
I don't know, man. There's definitely a lot more hop to it.
He said mouthfeel. I just kind of feel like as soon as he said that, I was like, maybe is it like thicker? Is that what you meant by that?
Yeah, it's like it's more the carbonation's better on it too.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
You know how sometimes like a beer's thinner and just kind of sits in your mouth and you can kind of like, you know, the watery to it. There's not much of the mouthfeel there. But a lot of times if there's some carb, there's some hop bite to it. It's full bodied. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, to me, a beer like this, as soon as it hits your mouth, you can I feel like you feel like a little hop tingle going on your tongue or something dancing around, you know, before the rest of the flavors come in.
I would say that this is easily one of the best beers I've had since we've started doing the show. But like I was saying before, I don't know if I would give this the same grade 2 months ago.
Yeah, no,
You know what I
hear
mean? Like
Yeah.
before we started the show. 'Cause,
Yep.
like I'm coming around to more of this stuff, but like this one is rugged enough to where I don't know if I would have liked it before. But because
Sure.
you guys are kind of like easing me in and like I'm not having full beers over here, I'm just kind of like sipping on it. It's
Yep.
good. I like this. I would drink it if I was out and it was offered to me, or I could buy it, whatever. Yeah, it's good.
I'm blown away, dude. I can't believe that just through this show that we've done like a sick KBS vert dinner, second dinner. Like, I don't know, man. I'm like stoked right now.
It was a sick KVS version.
Your face as soon as he said that, I was like, oh no.
It was great. No, but that was really cool because like, you guys are like all into this. Like for me, it was just like, whoa, that's a lot of beer, but like it meant something,
Yeah,
you know. And I could taste the difference, and it was cool. It
Yeah.
was really cool.
nice. All right, I got to ask you guys. We were just talking about the Eagles on break. Did you guys see the at Goose Island in Chicago? Obviously, Goose Island's a Chicago-based brewery, and if anybody missed it, I don't think anybody did. That the Eagles played Chicago in was that a wild card game?
It was a wild card weekend. Yes.
Yeah, wild card weekend. Down to the last play, Cody Parkey, former Eagles kicker, comes out to kick for the Bears and does what is probably now going to be the infamous double doink.
It was funny watching it. I didn't realize that he missed it.
No?
When I saw it go up and I saw it hit the upright.
Yeah.
And in my mind went, oh, the ball hit the upright and bounced in.
Yes.
I think I kind of closed my eyes even and looked away because that's what I thought happened.
I thought that was happening. I was looking really close and I didn't realize what happened until I saw the ball bounce in the end zone. Because I thought the same thing. The depth perception,
Mhm.
I just really couldn't figure out what was happening other than it did glance or hit that upright.
Yeah, I actually even said to my wife after they iced him the first time and he made it.
Yeah.
And I looked at her and I said, because she was kind of like upset, you know, oh man, he made it. But I looked at her and I said, usually it's great when they make that kick.
Yeah.
Because the next time is usually a miss. If they miss that one, a lot of times the next one's a make.
Interesting. Did you feel bad for him?
No.
I did.
I didn't feel bad for him. No.
I would for Cody
Parkey.
Parkey. Yeah.
Fuck them.
Fuck him.
Yeah,
No,
I got
I-
a chance.
I felt bad. I mean, it's one of those things where I'm so glad the Eagles won, but I just hate seeing anybody who's like trying to perform on that level struggle.
I will say that I was glad that to find out that it was partially blocked.
Yes, I
For
felt
his
better.
case.
Yeah, for his case, absolutely. But I felt bad. I was super excited that we were making it to the next round, but I just kind of had this heartbreaking feeling for the guy. Like, man, could you imagine how shitty he feels right now? I mean, he was first class with it.
And
I
he
think
didn't have a great year. There was a game where he hit 4 posts in a game.
I saw that. I didn't see it happen, but I saw them talk about it later, obviously, and them showing those clips. And I'm like, man, that guy's just got to feel.
And the speed that the internet came out with the memes
Oh.
is the internet is undefeated.
Yep.
Just the
Every
bird
time.
box memes
Yes.
within like 30 seconds of this
Yeah.
guy kicking this ball. I'm like, how do they do that so fast?
Oh, it was so funny. But Taylor, I don't know if you saw it or not, or I'm sure you guys did too. But Goose Island is a Chicago-based brewery, so obviously they have Bears fans, and they came out and said, "Hey, you guys think that you can do that?
Yep.
Well, we're going to allow you to come out to the brewery, and if you can kick a 43-yard field goal, we'll give you beer for free for a year." So I believe 103 people came out and attempted to kick, and there was 103 misses.
And spectacular misses.
Spectacular misses. Now, I will say that I thought it was a little unfair because people were falling on their ass
Yeah.
because it was snowing.
Yeah.
It looked slick. And I'm curious to know that in perfect weather conditions, would any of those people made them?
I feel like somebody would have made it if it was on a good turf. And
I saw a couple
people
close
weren't
calls.
falling.
Didn't
I
it
think-
they looked like they were kicking off of like a slip and slide or
Yeah.
something.
You're
It was,
right.
I think it was like a piece of, they had like a piece of turf out there or
Yep.
whatever because they had the tee set up and everything.
Yeah.
If you know it's snowing, you got to bring proper footwear.
There were guys
I
in
don't feel
cleats.
sorry for anybody.
I did see
if
some
they've
guys
got
with
if they
cleats.
got cleats on, good for them. If they got boots on, good for them. But guaranteed, those weren't the people that you saw falling on their asses. People that were wearing just sneakers or whatever.
Yeah.
Those were the ones that are falling. And anyway, fuck them.
Fuck 'em.
How much of that do you think is the Bears trying to find a field goal kicker?
been-
Open tryouts. Open tryouts. Sponsored by Goose Island.
The Bears like, yo, Goose, We got an idea
yeah.
for it.
Tony
Hook us
Danza.
up. And then that's
On
their
the low, help
contract.
us
They don't
out.
even got to pay them. They
Yeah.
just get free beer for a
They
year.
don't even realize it.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like, damn it.
that'd be hilarious.
What was that Tony Danza movie called? The,
Trash pick and
Picking
field
us-
goal kick in Philadelphia phenomenon.
there it is.
What? I've never heard of that.
There was this Tony Danza Disney movie where he was a field goal kicker, but he was a trash collector in Philadelphia.
Oh
I
man,
don't think I ever actually saw it.
Yeah, it was great. It's great.
that
It's
sounds
kinda-
good.
It's the Eagles version of Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. That's
Good
it.
entertainment.
I remember
I've
that.
never even heard of it. I'll have to look
Vaguely
that up.
remember that.
I'd like to try that. I think we've talked about it before, but I'd like to try to kick a field goal.
My cousin used to kicked at Downingtown High School, and then he actually kicked at Westchester.
Okay.
And I thought about him, and I was like, man, if I could get him out there, but
Hook it up.
have him give them my name.
Yeah.
They'd be like, hey, my name's Steve, and he kicks this thing through, and then I'm
Yep.
hooked up for the year.
That'd be awesome. Why? I mean, I guess I'm just curious, like, how difficult is it, or like, why did he not go pro? Is it like that difficult to get in to be a kicker in the pros? Or
Well, you got to think about how many people are trying out for 32 spots.
I know, but how many people are trying out to be kickers?
A lot more than 32.
Yeah, you're probably right.
How many colleges are there across the nation that play football?
True.
At least 300.
And they don't keep a second, third, fourth string quarterback. You saw Seattle, like when their guy got hurt. Was it Seattle? I think
was
they were just
Seattle.
like, we got to go for two, and we're gonna. What they do? A weird drop kick
Yeah.
type.
After Janikowski pulled his hammy walking from the
Yeah.
buffet.
Yeah, it's a big dude. Big dude.
What beer would you get if you got just constant beer from Goose Island? Like, say you made that field goal. What beer would you get from them?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the Belgian stuff. So, like, I think what is it, like Matilda, Sophie? I forget which
Yeah,
ones.
they have
That,
the sister series.
Yeah,
The
that-
different Belgians that they do.
yeah, I'm not a huge fan of those ones. I don't know how readily available they would be with like Bourbon County stuff. Maybe try some of that.
I was
but-
wondering, what they said free beer for a year, is that every time you come in, you can buy whatever you want? Is that they give you, a case a month? What is free beer for a year?
I don't know. It's a good question.
I definitely, the Bourbon County stuff's definitely where you gotta start the match at. though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, I don't really know. How about the Pittsburgh invades Philly? Have you seen that event coming up? It looks kind of interesting. I've heard of a lot of these breweries, and I've heard good things. Like Grist House, for example.
Is Dancy Gnome on there?
Dancing
Dancing
Gnome.
that's
Yep.
there.
Dancy Gnome is great.
Yeah. So I'm actually really interested in this. I just wanted to bring it up and throw it out there. It's going to be on Saturday, March 2nd. According to the Post, it starts at 11:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. and it's being held at Workhorse Brewing in King of Prussia. Have you guys been there yet?
Have not
Yeah, me
made it
either.
yet.
No.
But I hear it's a huge facility. It's sponsored by is it Kunda Beverage? Kunda Beverage?
Mhm.
Kunda?
Kunda.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really neat. But I don't know. It sounds like a neat event. Those are they all. I think it'd be really interesting. We don't obviously get distribution of those beers, so I think might be nice to get out there and check those beers out.
I think we might have to make it a Might Be Brews field trip.
Yeah, I think so too.
That'd be awesome.
Make
Yeah.
Jackie drive.
Yeah,
She would love that.
yeah. And Rogue One,
Rogue One. We'll take Rogue One.
they got a new car. It's a Nissan Rogue, but it's white. It reminds me of a Stormtrooper. I think of them too. But
I told her that we couldn't. I was like, we can get it under one condition. We can call it Rogue One. She was
Yeah.
like, done. That's done.
yeah,
No
that's
problem.
awesome.
So all about it. Do we have one more beer?
Yeah, we do. We have one more.
With all that beer, we figure we might as well have a little dessert beer.
Yeah. Steve, you brought this one. Do you want to introduce it?
So yeah, we got the latest Levante release, the Bogart Blondie Imperial Pastry Stout, white chocolate, brown sugar, lactose vanilla stout. It's a heavy hitter at the 13.1%. So
That sounds serious.
I've really liked
Real deal.
all the stouts that Levante have been putting out recently.
Yeah.
I thought they've been doing a really nice job with them, and excited to try this one.
Yeah, I'm really excited. You want some of this water?
I really like the Levante Text the Fridge. Have you ever done that?
No, well, we talked about it. We had that on as a topic.
I do it a lot.
One of our early. Do you?
I check them out a lot.
Yeah, I do it way more than I should probably admit.
I don't get out that way as much as I'd like to, man. I love their beers. I did bring it up that for some reason I just can't seem to bring myself to really get into like a plain, cloudy, and cumbersome.
Yeah, we still don't see eye to eye on that one.
Yeah, not crazy about that one, but
No?
Taylor,
Yeah.
pass that over to you. I love blondies, by the way, the pastry.
Beers?
Okay, I thought you were talking about women.
Yeah.
I know what was going on there.
Yeah, no, but no, like blondies, like like I guess instead of like chocolate, it's more like brown sugar type style brownies, but they're like a blonde color, and I'm sure you guys know what that is. But I just love those, and I buy them every time I see them. So I'm really excited to try this because of that.
The only blondie I ever know is Applebee's, right? They have a dessert.
Whoa.
Something about blondie.
Probably.
That's the only blondie I ever know.
Damn.
Before
Ooh, the nose is nice.
before I tasted this, saying the word dessert is very
Appropriate.
appropriate because it's dessert.
Damn. That's sweet.
Wow, that's good.
Whoa.
It's good, but it's very sweet.
Yeah.
But
It's
once
a
again,
pastry stout.
it is a pastry stout. They're delivering what they said that was going to be in there.
Very
Yeah.
true.
I really wish I had brownies right now.
Yeah,
Really wish I did.
that's good. That tastes like
This
a
is
brownie.
a
Blondie.
fantastic dessert beer.
Yeah, that's great. All right, speaking of local breweries, I saw something recently, Le Cabra. You guys know Le Cabra in Berwyn, I think it is?
Yep.
They got good beers, man. Is it the Shatter series? I
Yes.
think
Yep.
the single hop beers and stuff like that. I've had a few beers from them, not a ton, but I like what they have. They're opening a new restaurant called Bodega, which I thought was
love that
kind of
name.
interesting. Yeah, very cool. Let me pull it up here quick because I wanted to bring up a couple points about it. It's going to be in Bryn Mawr, and it's in the former Biga restaurant, Biga, down on the main line. So I guess that's the building that it's going to be in. It used to be a pizza place, but what was it about this place that I wanted to bring up? It's a
Fire, right?
yeah, it's a live fire kitchen, exactly. So they're going to use the wood burning oven that's already there to cook their food. So I guess the guy that they brought in to cook is really known for barbecue and things like that. So he is going to have a smoker to work with also, but they're going to be serving all Le Cabra beers as well as Pennsylvania wines and ciders, but no hard liquor. And they hoping to be open in late spring. So it sounds really cool. I'm really interested and looking forward to trying that out.
Right. I only made it down to La Cabra once, but we really enjoyed it. The food was really good. We had tacos. They had a really nice little kid setup. The kid menu was great. They gave them crowns that they were taken care of. It was a good night out with the family.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I've heard that. I've heard they have really good food there.
Yeah, the food is great. The food menu is. I've been there once too, and that's all I've ever heard. I mean, besides the beer being really great, that the food is top notch.
They had some mole wings that were really good.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That sounds nice.
Might
It's
not
so
have-
funny you say mole too, because just the other night my wife made something like mole tacos. I didn't
Yeah?
know it was mole, so I asked her. I said, "So what's in mole sauce?" It
You don't want to
Didn't
know
go
what's in the
well.
mole sauce.
didn't go well.
Well, it's funny. I always call that what is it? Weyerbacher? Do they do Sunday mole stout?
Oh yeah, is it mole style?
I don't,
Yeah,
probably.
It's mole.
I call it
Yeah.
mole
Boy,
though.
I've been
Sunday
calling it
mole
mole
stout.
forever.
I've been calling it Sunday mole stout every time.
Yeah, because it's cinnamon and peppers. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
All right. Well, so now that it's being 2019, I wanted to bring up this little article that I found. It's called 7 Trends in the Beer Industry to Watch Out for in 2019. So what do we think is going to happen to the industry this year? Any guesses or anything that you hope to see? Or
I did not look at this article. I know you posted it on our sheet here, but I
Okay,
did not
good.
open it purposely.
Good.
I know trend that I've been hearing about is these brute IPAs.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about those. I don't know if that's on the list or not. I've had 1 or 2 of them. I never really got what I was supposed to be getting from them. I'm hoping lagers and pilsners kind of make a little bit of a comeback here in the trends.
Yeah. What about you, Joe? Any predictions or things that you hope to see or or even hope to go away?
Hope to go. I feel like I'd get a lot of backlash if I said I would like for the hazy IPAs to go away.
Do you feel that way?
See, I don't totally feel that way though. But I remember a time where the beers that you chased were Sculpin. They were shaped of hops to come, like the clear, danky IPAs. They were the beers that you chased, and we've seemed to get away from that. I mean, I'm not complaining about it because they're all mine now, but
I hear what you're saying. I would like to see more balance to it. Not just the hazies out there, not just the New Englands, but have them in unison with the West Coast IPAs. Bring back a little bit of the bitterness and have that balance there instead of it being all New England IPAs.
Yeah.
All right, so here's what I got. Number 1 on the list. Taylor, you go ahead.
Make lagers great again.
That is number 1 on this list. Lagers.
Awesome.
Boom.
Wow.
The red-headed stepchild of the American craft beer scene for the last 5 years. Lagers are coming back in vogue as customers tire of enamel-stripping triple IPAs and gut-busting pastry stouts.
Oh no! Oh no!
I say that as I finish my delightful pastry stout.
Hey, it's a good beer.
Which we didn't. We got to rate our pastry stout here.
But we do have to make sure we rate that. Let's get back around. I just took a sip of that. I'm going to give it a 3.75. I think it's good. I think it's better than average. It's not blowing my mind. I think I can think of more stouts that do more for me. Maybe there's too much sweetness or something like that. But it's good. But I'm going to give it a 3.75.
I'm going 4.25 just because it's giving me what it says it is. It's giving me blondie. It's giving me pastry stout.
Yeah.
The 13.1 is hidden
True.
somewhat in there. I
didn't
definitely
realize
don't
that.
think it's 13.1.
I'm gonna go because you look like you have a lot to say about this.
Not really.
So
I was just caught off guard by John.
I'm going 4 just because it's great, but it's nichey. You know,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
a dessert beer. Great dessert beer though, and it is very well done.
So
for what it
dessert
is.
beer is a real thing? Like, what is a dessert beer? Other than like being super sweet, is it literally something that you drink after a meal? Like,
It doesn't have to be. I mean, I think we're going to drink beer when we want to drink beer, but we did. I will say we purposely left this beer for last, thinking that it's gonna, it's gonna. The flavor profile of this may not mix well with other styles of beer, so let's have that last.
I could see that, but like I was just asking, like, would this be a beer that you would normally drink last? Like, if you had a bunch of beer at your house, different kinds of beer, and you were just like, oh, I'm just having a good day, good night, drinking some beers, would this be like your nightcap?
It would for
You
me.
think?
Yeah.
Especially with the alcohol content.
Yep,
As a nightcap?
maybe. I
As
mean, like,
Yeah.
Well, no, for me, for my
Yeah.
rating, as a nightcap, I'm giving this a 4.75.
wow.
Nice.
It's great. I love the taste of it, the sweetness of it, especially, I mean, if you're like, it's not a normal stout to me. It's like really sweet, really smooth.
Is there anything left in there?
No, I'm
You
finished.
killed it.
I'm
You killed
killing
it.
it. Yeah, it's really good.
I'm just gonna smell it.
Yeah, at the end of the night, you go and you grab that instead of
Yeah,
some
like
ice cream.
yeah, I would say definitely like after a good meal
Yeah.
or whatever. Like I would definitely drink that all the time.
I've definitely done that on like an NFL, football Sunday. You might have an IPA or two while you're watching the game, and then end up, where you're like, all right, I'm gonna finish the night off with a stout.
Like this doesn't even taste like beer to me. It straight up tastes like a brownie. It tastes like
Yeah.
super chocolate.
I try to
super
tell
sweet.
Robin when I'm trying when I really love a stout and I want her to try it. Robin's my wife, if you don't know, and she's into to IPAs. She likes going to breweries with me. She's into that scene, but like she really she doesn't like stouts, and I kind of like say like you can't think of it in the sense that you're probably used to of like having a beer or something like that. You know what I mean? Like try to expand your mind out of that, and because I think you're really gonna like it.
That's the way I thought when I was first introduced to like Belgian quads. Like you can't think of beer when you drink this, or what you used to think of as beer.
Right.
You can't think of
Exactly.
Yingling. You can't think of even an IPA. You gotta just let it go and experience it for what it is.
Yeah.
That shit was delicious.
All right. let me try to wrap up this list here and do a couple more.
Joe's over here cracking up. he saw my face when you were like, 3 something. And I'm like, what?
I thought he was gonna fall out of his chair.
Like, dude, this is banging.
No, it's good. I don't know, man.
Well, no, like that's the cool thing about what you guys do is like we've talked about it before. Everybody's palate's different and everybody takes this stuff differently. And like I said, not even 10 minutes ago, like 2 months ago, I probably would have felt a whole lot differently about this beer, but I'm coming around to it, and that was really tasty.
Yeah.
Like a lot of beers, like what Steve said, they don't live up to the name or the label. Like the label is literally a decadent brownie.
Yeah.
Like it's like zoomed in. Like that's delicate.
Yeah.
And the taste definitely fully represented that.
Good.
You could even see like that font on like an upscale bakery.
Absolutely.
sure,
That's
for
what it looks
sure.
like.
It does.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Very
All right.
good.
If it's all right with you, Taylor, I'm going to
ahead.
continue with my
Please.
article.
Please do. Please do.
All right. All right. Next on the list is international breweries,
Okay.
which I thought was kind of interesting. But I guess what they're saying is over the last few years, obviously America has blown up in the craft beer scene, but you may not realize how much is going on in other countries. For example, Portugal. 2 years ago, the country had 2 major breweries. Now there's 70 craft breweries.
Awesome.
So there's a lot of craft brewing exploding in other countries, and I think you're going to start seeing more really good beer coming out of other countries, hopefully being imported into the U.S. for us to give a try.
Now, is the article might not hit on that. Is that newer countries, or is that more traditional countries coming over as well? More Belgian stuff coming over, more German stuff coming over.
I don't know how much it gets into it. It says there's a few hundred breweries in France, more in Spain, Korea, Japan.
Yeah, those are all not traditional brewing countries.
Yeah.
Do you think it's brewers setting up over there just because of like taxation purposes and things?
Maybe.
It's maybe better for them.
Maybe
over
it's
there
just
and
like
ship
that
over?
trend is spreading across the world. People are, there's pubs and stuff everywhere. Maybe people are just starting to have that taste for the craft beer as opposed to the generic stuff. Next up on the list, wild and spontaneous fermentation only breweries. So I don't know for sure what's going to happen, but I've heard talks about an other half facility being opened in Rochester, New York, that was going to specialize in open fermentation and sour beers. So that's kind of interesting. And I will say that online, I've seen more and more breweries posting pictures of I think they call them cool ships.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen those?
Yeah. Did you see? I was just going to say, did you see Burley Oaks? I think it was Burley Oak that did the traveling cool ship.
No,
It was like on top of some sort of like Jeep.
really.
They drove it around.
That was the idea to gather more different bacteria from the air.
Yeah,
How
I guess
far did
so.
it go? Like just
like the-
around Jersey or wherever they're at, Maryland?
I don't know. It'd be kind of dangerous to drive around like
Yeah.
downtown Ocean City, Maryland. Prime
Yeah,
time
that's
like
interesting.
that.
Taylor, I don't know if you know what that is, but nowadays, I guess what's becoming more popular of a style are these spontaneous fermented beers. So what they're doing is instead of like brewing the beer and throwing it into like a giant holding tank, you know what I mean, in the brewery where it's closed off and there's no oxygen getting into it and things like that, that they're pouring it on a giant table and opening the windows and allowing the air to just come in from outside and anything that's floating around in the air to actually get into the beer and become part of the reaction of the process of fermentation and react with the yeast and things like that in the beer.
Oh, wow. That sounds
A lot of times, I mean,
heavy.
yeah, it's crazy. I hear it's very labor intensive.
I can imagine it is because you don't know what's coming in. How do you control that?
I don't know. It's a really interesting way to do things, and a lot of times that produces a sour beer, where it's more of like a sour style.
I like sours.
Yeah, me too. But that trend, I guess, is becoming more and more popular, and I guess as breweries are really nailing it and coming out with these consistently great beers, they're expanding,
Yeah.
and they're going to try new things, and I think more and more these very popular breweries, you're going to see them going after these styles. The next one on the list is tap rooms as gathering spaces. I think it's a weird thing to say because I think that's what tap rooms really are.
Yeah, I was going to say that's pretty much what we're doing now, isn't it?
Pretty much, but I guess what they're saying is maybe traditionally a brewery might just have a small bar and a little bit of whatever, and now the trend is going to be maybe something more like Root Down, where they're building like a facility for people to come and spend lots of time, or maybe become a place where you can shut it down for a party and have a work get together, like an office holiday party or something where there's games, there's plenty of space, there's movies on, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, there's just a ton of space and you can fit a ton of people in.
Oh, to the day where my work party isn't at the VFW and it's at a
right?
it's at a brewery.
Absolutely. And next on the list, the death of lactose, and the picture associated with it is actually of the Tired Hands sign out front of I'm guessing like maybe the firm. But I'll just read it quick. The Tired Hands in Ardmore, Pennsylvania made the milkshake IPA famous. The biggest mistake was revealing his process. In the last few years, every brewer and their mother has been tossing lactose into their mash tuns, which give their beer a creamy, almost milkshake-like quality. So they talk about Hudson Valley. They talk about Imprint being beers where they're being places where they're trying to produce this beer that have that thick creamsicle. They're calling it yogurty, creaminess to them, that making the milkshake. So I think it's been a nice fad, but I think they're thinking that it's eventually going to go away, and hopefully people start to go to more traditional styles of beer.
And I kind of feel the same way about that. It just give me balance.
Yeah.
Give me a little bit of everything.
It's neat. I like hazy stuff, but more like probably from a double dry hop or something like that. You know what I mean? More than a lactose beer. I've never really been a huge fan of the milkshake series. I like Tired Hands beers. I don't at all want to sound like I'm bashing them, but I love Alien Church. I love a lot of Hop Hands. I love a lot of those traditional ones, but so far, most of the milkshake series from them, I haven't been a fan of.
Some of them I like, some of them I don't like. I remember the pineapple one back a little ways was really good. And I did like the vanilla milkshake. I did enjoy.
Yep. Next on the list is coffee projects. It says, if you like craft beer, chances are you appreciate other craft products like chocolate, bread, coffee. So both beer and coffee are complex beverages. And so I guess you're going to start seeing that more. They talk about Burley Oak in here, how they do both cold brew and beer, you know what I mean? So they're going to probably put out more coffee projects.
Yeah, whenever I would go down there, my sister-in-law would always ask, bring me back some of the cold brew.
Yeah. What was the guy at your bachelor party? I was just thinking of him.
That's why I was laughing. Yeah, JP.
Yeah, JP, man. He went hard for that cold brew.
Yeah, he brought back like a couple cases.
Yeah, he spent money.
Ooh.
He dropped some money on that.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
That cold brew.
Everyone else is going back in for like big beer home.
Sorry, Chicky. Yeah. Like, let me get a couple 6-packs of Sorry, Chicky. He's like, I need bottles of that homebrew.
Give me
Or
4
that cold
cases
brew.
of cold brew.
Yeah. Last one on the list to wrap it up, wine forward beers. Which, have you guys had any of those? Anything that
what was the 61 from Dogfish that had the grape must in it? I think it was.
I don't think I had that. I've gotten a handful of wine beers from Trillium.
Yeah,
Trillium. I've seen them do like
the
a
Pinot Gris.
Yeah, stuff like that, and I've actually really liked them every time. So that's kind of interesting, and I do like that style. And I have to say, like, I do like I do like wine.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, like, especially if I'm trying to like lose weight, cut back on carbs and stuff like that, I might take a little break from beer and I'll drink like red wine instead. So yeah, I like wine, and I look forward to trying those type of beers.
It's all crazy stuff to me. It's all crazy stuff. You guys are talking gibberish. I'm just kidding. I like it a lot more than I did. I've said it many times during the show, I know, but I do.
Yeah. What's interesting, I just saw another release coming out. And if you're into these pastry beers, I saw that Flying Fish, I think they're out of New Jersey, They have a fried ice cream stout coming out, and I think that sounds so freaking good.
I wonder how they're going to try and impart a fried flavor.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'd definitely try it though.
Chi-Chi's.
I love fried ice cream.
Remember Chi-Chi's?
It's like
You remember
super
Chi-Chi's
sour.
in Virginia,
yeah.
bro?
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah.
Virginia? What about Exton? Right
I
down
don't
the
know,
road?
man. I wasn't here during that time,
El
during
Paso.
Chi-Chi's
You
time.
remember El Paso?
Is that
in
where we
Virginia?
went?
Yeah, that's where we went.
I remember Chi-Chi's. I remember getting fried ice cream at
Chi-Chi's
Chi-Chi's.
all the time too. Yeah.
Chi-Chi's used to be, the poorhouse used to be a Chi-Chi's.
No shit.
Yeah.
Dude, I would
Yeah,
go
it
in
did.
there
It
and
did.
rip up some karaoke like you would not
Nuh-uh.
believe. Dude,
Karaoke?
I would put the Humpty Dance on karaoke.
Nice.
Would light your
What?
ass up.
Wow. That's spectacular.
Yeah, we need to find
It
a
is.
karaoke at a brewery and go do that.
That's a good idea.
Let's do it.
What do you think, Joe? You want to do Forgot About Dre with me?
Oh boy.
Who's Eminem?
I don't know,
I
man.
think you both
I
are.
have blonde hair though.
Yeah, it's true. I'll do Dre. I could probably
You're
do
more
Dre.
like Dre than I am.
That's probably the biggest compliment I've ever gotten in my life. All right, guys, listen, we're going to have to wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening. I can't tell you how much we really appreciate you taking the time to let us talk with you. Make sure you follow us online if you're not yet. I'm thinking about doing a giveaway. I've got this Trillium shirt sitting at home that I just never did anything with. I think I'm going to put it up online and do a giveaway. So keep an eye out for our Instagram, our Facebook. We post beers throughout the week. We tell you what we're thinking. We get your input on future shows. So please follow us. And again, thank you so much for listening.
Absolutely, Joe. Thanks for coming out, being our guest.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
Joe,
Thanks for
thank
having
you.
me.
Appreciate it.
And thanks for the second dinner.
Yeah, thanks for the
Yeah.
second dinner.
Thank you for that, man. It's
You
great.
guys are more than welcome.
Absolutely. Taylor, thank you for all your help as always. Happy 2019, everybody. Thanks for joining us again. And we will be back very soon. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you next time.